5:58 PM and we are out of executive session and back into regular meeting. I don't have to do anything other than that, do I? No. Okay. Any agenda adjustments?
Yes, a quitclaim deed. If you will vote to approve me to sign this, this is a quitclaim deed releasing property back to, Julia Simpson. She has sold her property, which we foreclosed on a year ago. And so, she has sold it. Gateway Title, I talked to them, we always like to get it back. So, if you're all right with it, I will sign this, and get it back to her so they can get the closing finalized.
Did we have a lien on our property?
We foreclosed on it.
For you, sorry.
We had
foreclosed on it.
2 liens.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine with me.
But
Sorry
we
about
like
that.
to get the property back to them. Sometimes it's not to the property owner, but this will release what we have on it. She has sold it and it's gonna be improved.
Any questions, anybody? No. Okay.
Okay, are you,
And all money will be taken care of at closing?
we already got the check,
Okay.
already got the check, paid the taxes in full. It's better to do it like this because towns can't make money on
Right.
property anymore.
Right.
So if we can get it back, if she can make some money on it, so be it.
Where's this property?
Right up on Western Avenue, just almost across from, Miles Road, just
Okay.
before you, on the opposite side.
Okay, so we're here to finalize and sign the town warrant?
Yes.
Okay.
Did anybody have anything they found? I do have some explanations on a couple of things at the end. And one other thing I thought of, and I didn't, bring the numbers in with me because the amount of money for, come out of, fund balance, you had taken down to 60,000. But our revenues are gonna break even. If you wanted to take a little more, it's up to you.
I went
I just
to,
wanted to let you know.
I cringed.
Yeah, I think what we were talking about is just the 60,000.
Right.
Yeah.
We wanted to do
Okay,
more.
so we
Yeah.
can leave it the same.
Yeah, I would just leave it the same.
The other question was, Article 33. If you wanna read that, I've got a couple of things, to show you.
I think that's okay. Anybody have
Okay,
any questions on
so-
Article 33?
To explain some of the numbers,
Right?
you can pass these down, Brian. Show the sign for the front of the firehouse.
Right?
I showed this to Brent the other day and he requested the seal on the end of it, so I had him amend it. And that will go just above the doors, centered in the doors.
So the sign is $3,000?
No,
$3,000 for the sign for fire
for
department?
installation and the sign. We don't know a total right now, we kinda guesstimated,
Okay,
but anything that's not spent will go into fund balance at the end of the year, once the project's complete.
okay.
One of the other things in there was, money for veterans.
Hey, can I go back to the sign for a second?
Sure.
I don't know, 24 inches seems, height seems awfully small to me.
2 feet.
I know what it is. But looking at it from a distance.
Yeah, but the thing is it's gonna be on this side of the building.
Right,
And the lights are there, so we have to fit it
between
the
the
lights
lights and the
shine down
overhead
on-
door. Does the fire department get any say on this?
Yeah, that's all right.
So,
Cindy, did I see the amended one with the multi-straws?
that's the seal you wanted?
Did they not put station 46 in?
What do you mean?
Line 46 in the middle.
Wait, they can change it,
In the middle,
Of where?
of that seal.
Through the multi-straws. Station
It'll just
46
say
house number.
46 there.
Oh, I see.
So, the sign itself is $794.30,
Okay.
okay?
So that 3 would cover the sign and the installation?
Yes.
What you're saying. Okay. Okay, and then 60,000 into the Newburgh Veteran and Volunteer Fire Department
So-
Memorial Reserve.
Okay, so we talked about a veteran memorial, and I'll give you a picture of this. I'm not sure on the price of this, but, the thought is to have something like this so that we could have flagpoles on either side of it. And then if need be down the road, other stones can be bought if we run out of room to go on either side of it. And then this bench in front of it, they did a mock-up, but I kind of wrote on it for the dedication to the Newburgh Volunteer Fire Department. And I have their years of incorporation that we'll put on it. I kind of crossed out stuff they had here, where it says Newburgh Fire and Rescue, it would say
Right.
Newburgh Volunteer Fire Department. And then we could put, the benches placed to recognize the dedication of Newburgh Volunteer Fire Department and the dates of their incorporation.
Okay. That's, I mean, $60,000 doesn't buy you a lot anymore,
No,
but, it sounds fair.
Yeah, I like these ideas, but I'm still really torn on how this money should be spent, and I don't feel that I'm qualified to even suggest how it should be spent, to be honest.
what's your reservation?
I like this, I do like this. There's a lot of other things that probably are needed or will be upcoming. So I'm just torn about the whole thing.
Yeah,
It bothers me. I do love this. I saw a lot of cool stuff in upstate New York while I was traveling this weekend. All the telephone poles have a picture and a date of their war heroes as you drive through the towns. Like every one of the towns does. It's pretty awesome.
yeah, it is.
I don't,
Are you saying we should do more?
no, I just don't know how this all fits into what we've got going on here right now as an area, and if it's the right time for this.
Well, we could appropriate the funds, let me just start by saying that, we could appropriate the funds and, maybe a few people would come forward and have a conversation, you know, you can't get any participation. We had planned for it over here, right?
Yeah.
At the,
in
at
the
the
corner
edge,
of the parking lot.
right, cause there's power over there, we could,
Yeah.
already over there, we could have a light up, we could,
Yep,
you know, clear the area, plant flowers, you know, landscape it nicely.
If we get this grant for the fire truck, it's not coming equipped with anything, right? How much is that gonna cost to equip? Approximately.
Approx.
I'm kinda putting you on the spot here, but
Nope,
I don't wanna be looking for,
yeah,
get a
unfortunately.
brand new fire truck and have it sit in the shed and get nothing to put on it.
Well, the fund balance is is such that we really don't wanna take much out of the fund balance. either.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Well,
I
they
don't
also
wanna-
$95,000 in their capital reserve account.
Right,
right.
That's,
We've been setting
Which
money
should
aside.
be, well, it'll be up to 100 this year.
Based on the numbers that Neil gave me, that money's gonna cover getting that truck
I thought this was something that
operational.
you guys wanted though,
what's that?
this whole memorial thing for the volunteer fire department.
I hate to say it, but it's the first time I've heard of that.
No,
We talked about it at some meeting,
Yeah.
and I thought it was a good idea that, you know, if we earmarked that,
I thought,
money for the seal of that building for something that would honor fire department and the, volunteer department.
right,
I love the idea of it and all of that, but I think we really need to put it out to the community about what should be done with that money. You know, it's gonna end up being a problem no matter how we look at it,
the whole thing?
or maybe it's part of it, you know.
Well, I mean, we sure could use that money to finish the playground though. We all know that's in bad shape. $8,000, another $8,000 is to finish a hydrant, add a hydrant. There's another $3,000 for the sign for the fire department. 40,000 in paving is probably put to very good use. We widened the
Well,
driveway.
not even, that's fine,
Okay,
I don't have any issues with that, but as far as going forward with this,
the 60,000 for this?
yeah, we're not, maybe in another year or so, we'll be ready and have everything all taken care of, how it should be to do something like this, but I don't think,
Something I felt, and I've mentioned a few times, is that we really should have some sort of comprehensive plan, a long-term plan, rather than just kind of
piecemeal
piecemeal.
it together, yeah, I totally
You know,
agree.
we've got the playground that we're going on, and we suggested this to go on, that maybe with the help of some people from the town, could put a committee together or something and say, this is what we'd like to have here, a sports field, you know, and, you know, have a 5-year plan or 10-year plan.
Well, let me ask you this, Cindy, if we earmark this for these two items, okay? And then, let's say they get that truck. In all honesty, I'm gonna go back here, I thought we got feedback from you guys saying that if we didn't do something like this, people would be upset.
That was us saying that.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I
but,
thought
you know,
we just said
Yeah.
it needs to benefit the fire department.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright, so if you earmark this money, and a year from now, or 6 months from now, they get a truck, can we say, look, we'd probably have to have a special town meeting, I'm assuming, to say, look, instead of using it for that, we're gonna put it toward a truck,
Put what?
the 60,000.
Take
So-
it out of that reserve and move it to
so
a.
can I answer the question that you asked me? So on the capital reserve fund,
Right,
with the matching monies that we have to do, if we get that AFG grant for that new truck,
right,
the amount will basically be zero in there for the matching monies. So therefore, the reserve fund will have no money in it for the equipment.
so what you're saying
That
is
were-
if you get that grant, you have to use that 100,000 that we've been putting aside as matching funds?
Yeah, for that AFG grant. And then I believe, Cindy, if I'm not mistaken, there is a warrant for monies for the equipment to help us with equipment to,
No, they decided to wait, see if we get the grant and then do a special town
oh,
meeting.
do a secondary
Right.
special,
To
okay,
use the reserve funds,
Yeah.
but
to do
the
the
worksheet
matching.
that Neil gave me showed $50-some thousand come out of there towards matching funds.
Yep,
And then the other 40,000 was, that he gave me a whole list of equipment to buy that,
which
some of
was,
it would be included in the
we're hoping
grant.
that will be included in the truck,
And then the other,
but some
but
of it
once
may
in the
not.
reserve account, we'll put that truck on the road.
And that'll put us at absolute $0 in that reserve
In
fund.
that reserve fund.
There won't be another dollar left in it. There's still, I mean, this equipment is crazy expensive now to buy and to outfit a truck. But if you get a truck and a grant, I mean, you just saved $1 million to start with. And then from there, it's really kind of peanuts if you look at the difference between the cost of the truck to the cost of putting the truck into service, so.
Schools eating all
So-
the peanuts right now, so.
Right, we're all on peanuts and shells. So
Yeah.
what's your feeling on this? What do you wanna do with this?
My feeling is, I don't mind getting this stuff done,
But the 60,000 we could earmark for,
we gotta set it aside, it's
Future.
gotta be,
It's
Do
not
you-
gonna get done this year, it's just to set it, to work on a number, to come up with a plan.
but going back to what I was asking, if we earmark this for these two projects, and they get the truck, and we need that money for something else, whether it's their truck or, I don't know, what, can we go back in and say we'd like to redistribute it to somewhere else?
So if we don't spend it,
If we don't spend it,
Well, it's going in a reserve account anyway, so
Right.
it's sitting in the GL. But I would split it if that's the case.
split one,
I would make the reserve separate
yeah,
because we've already raised a certain amount of money for the,
for the
Veterans
Veterans Memorial.
and I don't want it to be spent out of there when
Right.
we raised it specifically for that.
right,
So if anything, I would split it, so it's two separate reserve accounts, one for fire and one for veterans.
okay.
is that something you guys think the community would be happy with, taking 60,000 of that money and setting it aside for future things we're gonna need, or?
I would think that they would be definitely be in support of that. You got some right here, how do you guys feel about?
Yes, for the fire department.
Yep.
That's fine with
Well, the
me.
whole idea was to honor the volunteer department,
Right,
and we were gonna make plaques and
right,
thought that it might be appropriate. I would think, you know, doing the memorial for the military honor roll.
right, we
And
have an
also give
honor,
volunteer fire department credit where credit is due.
right. The honor roll, I mean, this is gonna be about $7 grand. This is
Yeah.
gonna be a lot.
So, this one here was just done for the town of Holden,
Yes, I remember looking at that.
and that cost them $10,500. And that is 42 inches high, 8 inches thick, and 60 inches.
What was the design anyways that you guys were looking, I haven't seen, so I don't even know what I just would like to see, I appreciate the fact that the volunteers getting recognized, I just didn't see it, so,
And this is the bench.
yeah, I got that one, yep.
It's nice, but you could use it too.
So what I'm hearing is, don't take the 60,000 and do this, take the 60,000 and do something else. Not even the Veterans Memorial.
It's a good cause, and I would never, ever, ever not support doing it. I'm worried about how that money should be spent, and whether we can raise money another way to do that project, you know, within a few years, when we're a little more
To do
settled.
this project.
Yeah,
Yes, to do that
and
part.
have everything settled here the way that we want it,
Trouble is, we've been going at this for years.
really. I'm not,
The only reason that I came up with the bench was that meeting that we
I
had.
really like the bench.
People were talking about giving it back to the association, which doesn't exist anymore.
Right, you can't give it.
So that's why I said, you know, why not give them in memory of the, because that's who the money,
But where would this go, and what would we?
like I
Well-
said, it would set, if you put the
That's the problem.
the
That's the problem. You
veterans,
have to make a, you
We
have
don't
to,
really have, we need to plan on exactly how this whole complex
Yeah.
is gonna be set up, and we have it all figured out, because we can't be moving something like that.
Right.
I would assume that would be with 3 flag poles and, you know,
a flagpole, the original plan was a flagpole, a light, and some sort of memorializing
Right.
over
but
there.
if we do that, that, set in the corner of the parking lot, right over there, in a little area, with a flagpole on either side, and the bench down in front of it.
Like, what do you want to do?
You know, I throw another
Wow.
thought out there is if we had room is to have something like that in a cemetery.
Say that again?
If we had room for something like this, a memorial inside a cemetery.
I think it would be more seen here,
Yeah.
probably more appreciated
Yep.
here.
Well, I just think, yeah, like Mount Hope Cemetery's got all of those monuments, it's gorgeous there.
Yeah, no, it is.
Well, we can change the 60,000 to future use, I mean,
Or we can just leave it in the account, and if something comes up, ask the people to take it out.
Yeah, but if we do that, nothing's gonna happen. We're gonna procrastinate on it. What if we ask for a committee in this article?
That would be the only way that I can see it making sense, is we need townspeople to have some say in what this is gonna
I would
be.
love that.
Yeah.
I think that's how we do it.
I think that would
And
be-
people, I think people would wanna be on a committee for that. I would hope some people in the town would wanna be on a committee for that.
I know. That's fine with me.
So if we just leave it be and try to get a committee together to come up with a plan.
Yeah, I mean, and we should say at the town meeting that we're looking for a committee to come up with an idea, you know, on how this should be.
Yeah. So you wanna eliminate the 60 and just leave it? That's why Katie's here, so we can amend this article and have this signed tonight. We're running out of time.
So how would it read if we amend it?
We would just take out the 60,000, 60,000 for the veteran and volunteer fire department memorial reserve.
Yeah, but then you'd have to relabel it as something else, right?
No, just leave it where it is,
In that building account?
leave it right where it is.
It's in a building account? 40,000 for paving, 17,000 for playground improvements. How much did we get for the grant, Katie, 41? For your play-
41,599, yeah.
41, so we've already got 41,599.
Well, we spent 41 of it.
And that covers installation of the third hydrant and finishing the second one on North Road.
Yep.
For 3,000. And you could just say, and the balance will remain in the building reserve fund, is that what you wanna say?
No, it would remain in the, because this last one,
That was
signed for
the-
the fire department building at 8,592.50, which was the remaining we put in this building, or town buildings reserve. This,
Maybe you should-
60,000, we could change, we could leave it and put it in a reserve account for a committee to come up with a plan.
I think that would be better if it's worded that way, so they'll know.
Yeah, so they know that it's not just getting,
Right, it's
Right.
not
So if we
gonna be-
leave it be, and it'll just be in a reserve account.
You could say 60,000 into a reserve account for
It
future.
says reserve account.
No, but I mean up here, at the very beginning, if we
So
said,
if we take out.
I'm assuming all these numbers add up to the correct dollar amount.
Yes.
Okay, let's start there. Okay, so if that said $60,000 into
the
a
newer-
reserve account for future planning for Newburgh Veteran and Volunteer Fire Department Memorial Reserve. Like that.
almost think it's fine.
that's a lot of words.
I guess
That's the
that'll-
way it's written. If we just do an explanation and
twice,
saying
yeah, doing that one.
that
Yeah, I-
reserve is for future project to be decided upon by committee of townspeople.
Yep.
Okay,
You know what I mean, just with an explanation of,
that's fine with me. I just wanna make
But-
sure it's clear.
Yeah.
You know,
So this will be going into a new reserve.
New one, not the one that we've been raising money and putting in.
All the rest of these are pretty standard, does you guys have any questions on any of these
Yeah.
other ones?
6 or 7.
Do you remember what we charged for interest rate last year by any chance? Article five?
I don't know how much that is.
Wasn't
Oh,
it 8?
The one we're raising money for, that I've been raising
Or
money for
3.
the last 3 days, is that one?
I just
I don't
wondering
know.
if 8.5
Quite a
is
bit.
too high.
I think it has to be.
Well, what
Right.
did last year, 3 or 5?
Five.
Interest rate on taxes. We always go with the state.
We always
I-
go with the same,
I-
last year was 8.
I hear you, I understand interest rates and where everybody's at, I just don't want to over penalize people that are having a hard time, you know? My opinion.
So it was 8.
It was 8 last year,
Mm-hmm.
that's what she said. What's our payment on summer roads this year, 174? Is it down to 174?
I don't know, it's over here.
I
in here.
didn't bring any of my stuff.
I didn't either.
I think it's 174 something.
I think it's less than that, I think we're in the 160s.
We got down to 160.
Yeah, we're in the 160
Okay.
something.
And the balance will be to do some overlay and some repair on the roads.
Yes.
I mean, that's a big number in our summer account,
Yep.
summer road account. Wow, the library is gonna get $1,000.
They got 1,000 last
I
year.
know, I'm very
They
impressed.
have to now that Gary's gone because he prepaid our dues to, the program they use is $500 a year.
Yeah,
So that, we doubled it just to pay for their program.
okay.
Anybody have any other?
I'm just gonna say that, anybody else got anything else?
That's all I saw.
I just wanted to bring up again that, see if everybody else is okay with it. A lot of these questions now are written so they can be modified rather than a yes or no. Right?
What do you mean?
You've got recommended amounts here, whereas before we wrote them.
It's always been recommended.
No, you used to do budget committee and then recommended.
And they're,
But the questions were always, most all of them were written so that they could not be,
No, this is how they've always been written.
well,
Yeah, it was last year.
This is how they were written last year, and I haven't changed them since I've been here.
it used to have a recommended amount, select board
no,
recommends,
I know
the
that.
budget committee
But I just
recommends.
remember that people wanted, before on certain questions, people wanted to amend the amount and they couldn't because of the way they were written.
I think it was because of
If
the raise and
the number,
appropriate.
right, if the number is in the article.
Right, right.
But our budget,
You can
has always
lower them,
been-
you can't raise them.
right,
So this is,
so are you good with,
I'm good with
Sorry.
it, you?
Yep.
Are you all
I am.
set?
any signatures on that one, oh, please? And this is the school warrant,
I'll sign it anyway.
Brian, you cannot refuse to sign it.
there are 3 copies, I need signatures on all 3.
Okay, your turn.
Can I draw something on it?
It doesn't say it has to have your name, Brian.
This isn't the right one,
You wanna do black?
this isn't the one they signed. This
It
is
might
the one
copy,
they
yeah,
signed.
it might copy all.
No, it should be 3 lines underneath it.
Should have been a doctor's record.
No.
Yeah. There should be 3 lines
It
there.
got worse, I can't think
Oh,
of
okay, alright.
Yours is in my,
I
yours
scanned
is
it
in my
from
packet.
There's three look, sign, there's one, there's two,
Under protest.
Yeah.
three.
We can't refuse to sign it, how come? You know,
Just gotta go vote on Thursday.
Cindy, this is the signed copy. You want the date on this?
Yes, please.
Date this? This 28th, 29th.
28th day of May.
So the only other thing is if anybody had any questions or comments on the newsletter.
I do.
Okay, this is for you to
I
sign.
don't know if you,
He
is
signed,
that the same?
yeah, it's the same one, but he signed it.
That's,
Give that's it, Cindy, that's a signed copy of the
that's,
town meeting warrant. That's the third copy of that.
okay. Newsletter. You wanna do that here in private, or?
Do we sign the release on that copy?
No, I'll sign it.
Okay.
I just needed you to okay me
Gotcha.
signing it. Ready for corrections.
This is gonna sound petty, but I've said
I
it
love it.
before.
Friday.
If we're gonna do this, I think it ought to be done as proper as we can. On the front page, part of it's underlined, part is not.
Part of it's what?
Underlined
Yep, the
on
top
the
part.
header.
Deadline.
AM, PM is not consistent.
Yeah, with the
Heading
font-
two,
with the font size.
the dash. No, I'm not even gonna go there, so. The letter.
Go, Brian.
All right. If, first sentence, I would not do June 6th at 7 PM. I'd spell AT out rather than,
Mhm.
the town manager, all towns, it should be plural. Increases this year. The next to last sentence is taxpayers in education reserve account. Second paragraph.
Reserve account?
Yes.
Yep, that's
Should
what
be
you got.
Ann.
Should be
In Ann. Is it Ann or just in Ann?
in. Year should be years.
Where?
Second sentence, I think it is, in the second paragraph. Yeah, apostrophe, S, plural.
From fund balance, will mostly, shouldn't it say being washed for this year's budget? The increase in the 2025 budget and what they are going to apply for fund balance will mostly being washed, or is it mostly
I
washed?
think it's just an S, not plural, is it? That would be multiple years, and this is just this year's.
This year's budget, so it should be apostrophe S. Second sentence, are we talking the same years?
Well,
Mostly
the
washed
first
this
one is
year's.
just talking 1 year.
I understand that, but if it's a year's budget, it's possession, it has to be yes.
Right, so the second
Ken.
one,
Here, guys.
So it'll mostly watch this year's budget increase, is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
So it should be apostrophe S, you think, you say?
on both of them?
No, the next sentence is in the years to come, that's a plural word,
Or,
so.
yes, it's used,
In the years to come, this money applied towards taxes
Okay.
will do nothing for
All right.
future years.
as well.
Both plural.
Right, which is plural.
I have a hand in academy education, so I'm not gonna help with the grammar.
I've always found one person will say one thing and another person will say, no, that's not right.
I like the way you think.
That's true, we're all there.
Well, the only reason I'm doing this is, you know, the grief I got from that last letter that went out from,
Can't be any worse than the top of their letter.
oh, I know.
That thing was a hot mess.
Really?
Believe me, Karma is sweet.
2023,
Yeah, Karma is sweet.
June 2023 budget meeting. Thursday, June blank, at
Yeah,
7
no
p.m. Vote June 13th,
No date, wrong
2023.
year.
Yeah, where's my,
Do you have something to this sentence right here? We understand they are facing funding changes due to valuation increases through the towns. It should-
Some of this,
We understand they are faced with funding changes due to valuation increases throughout the towns and decrease in enrollment in the school system. I mean, that, you gotta explain that, or.
yeah,
Decrease in
below
enrollment.
Yeah,
it's-
we understand they are faced with funding changes due to a decrease in enrollment and valuation increases through the, across, through the towns or throughout the
So you wanna
district.
move decrease of enrollment first?
I would think so. We understand they are faced with funding changes due to a decrease in enrollment and changes to valuation increases throughout the local towns or local communities or throughout the local towns, throughout the towns in the district.
Throughout their communities in the RSU.
Right. Period. Then however, those increases are needed for the towns to keep their funding from the state and for residents to keep their full exemptions. Okay, that's. We are asking them to take a hard look at their budget. The issue that needs to be discussed is the over budgeting, especially in Articles 1, 2, and 9. Now, we understand you need some wiggle room as you may fill a position halfway through the year and whatnot.
Let's take that off.
Yeah,
if you're gonna use, instead of them, I would put RSU 22.
yeah.
Second sentence, it can't be you, it has to be them. Or they, I'm sorry. Now we understand that they need some wiggle room, and I try to find a different word for that, just personal.
Wanna call it fluff?
That's what we thought. Fluff.
I'll see what I can find. I'll look in the thesaurus to see what I can find.
besides wiggle,
The next paragraph, I kind of,
Squirm.
it's a lot of run-on sentences. When does this have to go out? Tomorrow?
This week.
It's quite soon. It's-
Voting's next Thursday, so they should go out this week.
It's already Tuesday.
And tomorrow I'll email my letter that I'm gonna send out,
in response.
yes.
Okay, please do. However, I know this is, however, as of 2019, these articles have had large amounts of unexpended money left. These articles have had a large amount of unexpended money
Which,
left
let's take
over,
left out.
which goes, it should be left over, which goes into fund balance, which goes into the fund balance at the end of the year. Okay, that should be a period right there, that's the whole thought. Then, a new sentence, however, they are continuing to increase these articles, the same articles, year after year. Can you say what articles 1, 2, and 9 are?
Yeah, they show down below in the figures
Oh, okay,
underneath.
sorry.
Article 1.
1, 2, and 9, okay.
And these are the numbers that they haven't spent since 2019. Based on their budget to actual.
I would say we are not asking to cut the amount the teachers are being paid, but we are asking that they budget these articles to better reflect their actual needs. In that next sentence.
So now we are not asking to,
Instead of saying now, we aren't asking to cut the amount the teachers are being paid. I would say, just clearly say, we are not asking to cut the amount the teachers are being paid, comma, leave out by any means, but we are asking that they budget these articles, in parentheses, 1, 2, and 9, to better reflect their actual spending needs. The following shows how much unexpended money has gone into fund balance from 2019 through 23, from Articles 1, 2, and 9. That's a good thing to show people, right there. I would even put a little sentence below that. These totals reflect, again, these totals reflect the total amount that gets returned to fund balance.
Or just, you can find these numbers in Exhibit 2 of the annual audits on the website of RSU 22.
Or you can add that in, because I would not know where to look for that, honestly. You can add that in.
The easier to understand, the better. The
Right,
message
that's
out.
why you-
The clearer, the
Yeah.
everything.
Either taking all this extra money and they're hanging on to it, they're not spending it on what they say
Right,
they're
and
gonna.
they're still, and they're not giving us a break at all.
Right.
That's the easiest way to put it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's what I explained in my letter. is,
Yeah.
You know, they'd come across in the link like, oh, we're gonna do you a big favor and put $2.2 million towards our increase this year.
yeah.
You
Well,
got-
what
You know-
happens when that money runs out?
Right.
You know, that
They're gonna
rebuttal,
have a big tax hike.
that rebuttal from Will City also stated that it was against the law to return money to the towns.
It's not against the law.
It's
to
not
return.
again, I want to make sure you
It's against the
make
law
that,
for them to put it in reserve accounts is what I believe,
right,
because it says it has to be used for educational purposes.
right, a reserve account is
Well, a
not,
reserve account for athletic fields is
Not education.
not line item of education.
and we have confirmed
It's
that
extracurricular activity.
you had confirmed that Bucksport actually gave money
Yes,
back
3
three
times in
times.
12 years, they've
Okay.
given back money to the
I would clearly
taxpayers.
state that in that
Not-
letter.
Directly to the taxpayers, they give it to the town, it goes in a reserve account, and
The town puts
it's
it
used for
towards,
Offset.
education.
right, which would be wonderful.
I'm telling you, that them doing this 2.2 million is gonna kill us,
Oh, yeah.
kill us.
But they're making it sound sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Can I do that last paragraph?
It's only
Yes.
sweet to them.
Just be done.
Yes,
Kitty, if you could, we ask you, if you eliminate that, we ask you to take all the information that has been provided from all sources and come to the school budget validation meeting, June 6th, and that
at
spell
7.
out act as well on that.
so you wanna take out the on, just come to the school validation meeting,
On June 6th.
okay,
Spell out at.
yeah.
Or you can take out on, either way.
We're telling them the right time and day to be there. And, you know,
Oh, I wish you could have heard the conversations I heard.
Who proofreads that?
Nobody did. That was
Obviously.
the problem. Everybody's
Yeah,
passing
get
the
the
buck.
meeting in June 11th of 2023,
June 13th,
June 13th,
Who's this one?
2023.
Hampton?
Camden did.
Is that right?
top
the
of
link.
next letter.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
surprised.
sorry, that's not,
Can't
That's
say
terrible.
surprised.
And you just said it all. We went to Hamden, so we're not gonna put any input in this. That just shows why.
I've written a rebuttal to Will's letter like 3 times and then deleted it. Cause I can't
better now.
I can't be nice. I
Yeah,
just
right.
can't.
I don't want you to be nice.
I think that's been.
My wife requires it.
So is that the only thing, we're taking out the at, spelling at?
We got that, added the two,
Is Will rerunning or is this
took
new
them
for him?
out.
He's been in there, that's what I thought.
It's not that he's,
I got it.
it's not that he's doing a horrible job, but he's just being, it's the blind leading the blind.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, and that's the problem.
It's because they're given their information half hour to an hour prior to a meeting, showing no actual versus
Yeah.
what they've budgeted versus what they've actually used, and they get their information 1 hour prior to their meeting. So you have no time to digest it,
So they're
They're
voting
being
on.
exactly what they wanted to do.
and you're just telling them, well, this is why, this is why we need to do it, and you just need to continue on. But what they're doing is, they're gonna make themselves enough money each year to continue on with the 2.25 million, because that's what they're overtaxing us in their
Right.
articles.
Yeah.
And they figure out.
And if they're not, they'll adjust it for the next year.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, it's a pretty good scam.
I totally get having fund balance and being able to pay bills and whatnot.
Well, I totally get even a reserve account here or there when you know something's coming down the road, there's changes coming, but 10 million, 6 million,
Well,
They're gonna be
what's it up to
asking,
now?
they're gonna be asking for a new school in a couple of years, you know?
For what?
For where?
They're gonna wanna combine,
Elementary school.
they'll combine Weatherby and River off.
Yeah,
They'll build
absolutely.
a K through, a pre-K through high school. They need to.
There's no doubt about it.
but the thing is they're not,
They're like 11th on
next year,
state funding.
right now, they're allowed to have 9% over their annual budget.
Right,
Right now, they have like 33%
over their annual budget.
over their annual budget. So this good faith 2.2 million is out of
The
the
33 over.
10 to 33%. Next year, they lose that 9%, it goes down to 5%. So they're gonna have to figure out how to get rid of 4%. And they're supposed to do this in 3 years. They should have had a plan. This has been going on for a long time, not to this
The
extreme.
plan was not to get caught
Right.
and not have it found out soon, obviously.
So 2.2 million is, they've got, and 2.2 million, and 2.2 million, and 2.2 million, but you're going up 2.3 million and 2.4 million.
Right.
It was said, and I commented on this, I don't know if anybody's watched the budget meeting, where they presented the budget to the school board. And Nick had a slide up on the thing for EPI, EPS. And asked
What's
the budget,
EPS?
Nobody knows, I don't know.
education something,
Projection.
projected revenue or something. But anyway, our number was here, and we were rate comparable with Brewer and Bangor, and Oro was a little higher than everybody,
I like
Herman.
and
was a little higher. But he asked the committee members where they wanted to be, because 3 or 4 of the towns were Cape Elizabeth and Kennebunk, 4.
I saw that in the letter.
Their numbers were
Yeah,
huge
Our
above,
percentage
you know,
is much
we
lower.
can't afford to compete with those
Yes,
towns.
You can't
I'm
afford to
sorry.
compete with Bangor.
We're having a hard time
Bangor's
competing with
not even that
Right.
high.
I was gonna say,
No.
Bangor's probably
EPS
lower.
is actually,
Right.
no, Bangor's is a little bit higher than us, but Bangor and Brewer aren't that much higher than
No.
what we're at. I think Herman was actually the only school under us. Searsport comes in fairly high.
Well, think
for
about
what
the
they spend
population
over.
and the money.
Right.
We're a town of 1,283 people.
So the
Right.
question was,
Those
do
are
we
registered
wanna,
voters, we've got more than that.
do we wanna be with these towns, or do we wanna stay with these surrounding towns around? And I answered that question in my letter.
It was basically.
We need to
asked,
stay right where we are because Newburgh can't afford to pay
That's
for
right.
those
Well,
other
neither
towns.
can Bridgeport, and neither can Frankfurt.
No.
That's right, it's all of them,
That's
that's,
right.
you're,
With this
It's
money,
ridiculous.
these numbers, and increases this year's
How can you
2.3
compare
million.
our district to Cape Elizabeth?
I don't know. They're numb.
And
But we don't have the tax base for
we
it.
don't have, right,
I think the vision, I think their vision is if we can compete as a higher end school, they'll get more.
Yeah.
They'll get more tuition students.
tuition
and
students.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I
Fundings.
read somewhere that Maine is ranked 48 out of 50th
Now, yeah.
Now,
We
yeah,
were
for
10.
education,
that's true. I read it.
48th out of 50th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how much money you got in reserve, you guys aren't doing your job.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean, that's
We all can.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's right.
You're the ones running it.
All right, so have we frustrated ourselves enough for one evening?
That was me,
Okay.
and I'm gonna kick somebody when she says it's gonna be a short meeting again.
Okay, so it is 6:49, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor, 3-0, we are done.